Good evening, friends. I'm Ravindra Srinivasa from SRAA Media, Bengaluru. I have with me Dr. Sreevani Karnav from Hyderabad. She is a gynecologist and she is an expert in PCOS curing naturally without any medication. This is the most important aspect which I found with her. Come, let us welcome Dr. Sreevani to our knowledge sharing program. Good evening, Doctor, and welcome to the program.
Good evening. Thank you so much.
Yes. As we were discussing in our last episode, the insulin resistance and its connectivity with the PCOS problem. Right,
Yes.
Doctor? This is what we were discussing. I would like to request you to please carry on with the subject so that our audience should be able to understand what is insulin resistance, the symptoms, and the natural solutions available to overcome from it.
Okay. So, insulin resistance is basically understood in relation to diabetes commonly, but it is related to PCOS as well.
Okay.
So, diabetes and PCOS are a kind of similar in metabolism wise, metabolic disorder. It's both are metabolic disorders. So, insulin resistance plays a major role in this actually. So basically, I wanted to explain what is insulin resistance first of all.
Yes.
So our body is made up of many cells. Okay, we know that our physical body is made up of many cells, and every cell, basically mainly muscle cell, fat cells, they have insulin receptors on their cell wall.
Okay.
Okay. So just if I have a picture, if you are okay, I will share my screen.
Yes.
Okay, you can. So I wanted to explain in detail about insulin resistance. Okay, so can you share the screen?
Yes.
Yes. So this is a structure of our cell. Our body is made up of many such cells. Okay. So this is the receptors of insulins which are present on the cell wall. These are the receptors of insulin, and these molecules are insulin hormone. So when these hormone acts on the receptor, it undergoes some change and allows glucose to enter the cell.
Okay.
Okay. That's when our blood sugar levels will be normal. Okay, so what happens in insulin resistance, these receptors don't function properly, and glucose cannot enter the cell properly, and glucose accumulates in the blood, and it signals our pancreas to secrete more and more amount of insulin.
Oh.
So that glucose can enter the cell and blood sugars will be normal. Okay, that is the initial stage. Initially, our sugars will be normal. After some time, what happens? In spite of high insulin levels, these receptors don't function properly, and glucose remains in the blood high levels. So that is when diabetes will be detected. So before that, pre-diabetes will be there. After that, overt diabetes will be there. So what is the reason for these receptors becoming resistant is accumulation of fat in the cell. Intramyocellular lipid is there, no? So when the cells are accumulated with fat, these cells don't function properly. Just like when chewing gum is put in a lock, the key cannot open the lock properly. So similarly, these insulin molecules act as a key, and this is a receptor as a lock. So this key cannot open the lock properly. So that is one of the reasons, accumulation of fat. So another reason is we can say dairy products. Okay, milk and milk products, they increase the insulin-like growth factors in our body. Okay, IGF molecules, insulin-like growth factors. So they go and block those insulin receptors, and that also impairs the functioning of the receptors. That also increases the insulin resistance. Okay. So for insulin resistance, we can classify into diet-related causes, exercise-related causes, stress-related causes. Okay. Diet-related causes includes, as I said, milk and milk products. It may be okay. Nowadays, the milk which is getting is also not so good. It's mixed with so many chemicals, antibiotics, hormones, and all. Okay. So milk and milk products, we can say high excess fat in our food, excess oils and fat in our food. And third one is micronutrient deficiency. Nowadays, when we do a blood test, everybody is having low vitamins, be it vitamin D, B12, iron. So when the micronutrients are less, the receptor don't function properly. Okay, that is another reason. Acidic foods, refined foods, all these contribute to insulin resistance.
Can you give some examples of acidic food? Because nowadays, in city life, everyone, maybe generally 20 plus, 30 plus age group people are suffering from acidic problems.
Yeah.
And generally 30 plus, 40 plus are suffering from diabetes as well as hypertension. And 50 plus, 60 plus are suffering from cardiac related, heart related issues. And together with knee pain, joint pain and all those stuff. So this is a common thing what we are seeing in day-to-day life with even in, it is not exempted of rural people also.
Yes.
So this is very pathetic condition which we are living in our country, and we came to understand that our India is becoming the capital city of diabetes, obese, and obese is causing because of the gastritis causing diabetes, and then hypertension, and turn into a lot of other ailments. Continue, Doctor. So now, as you said, the receptors are not receiving the insulin properly to the blood cells, and it give an indication to the pancreas to secrete more insulin. So once it is secretes, and how that insulin will be distributed and consumed, so that the additional fresh insulin should not get accumulated in the blood. That is what you mean to say, right?
No, that will get metabolized anyway.
Okay.
It is a mechanism to normalize our sugars. It is a response of our pancreas to secrete more and more amount of insulin. So high insulin levels is not good for our body because it is an anabolic hormone. It further adds weight to our body, further adds fat to our body. And in PCOS, it increases testosterone levels. So high insulin levels are not good actually. We can check our insulin levels also by blood test. Fasting insulin. Okay, insulin fasting. In fasting, we give blood tests and we will know if it is high or what. If it is high, we need to take action immediately to prevent diabetes or hypertension. Okay. So,
what are all the symptoms of insulin resistance? How one person will come to understand whether they are having the problem of insulin resistance?
Yes.
And particularly women, because it relates to PCOS.
So basically, if we talk about PCOS, it is because of poor lifestyle only. When fat accumulates in the cell, the insulin resistance increases. But basically, we have a genetic problem also. Low estrogen levels. Because of low estrogen levels, the functioning of liver and metabolism will be disturbed because every cell of our body contains estrogen receptors. because overall lower levels of estrogen, even the metabolism gets disturbed and fat accumulates in the cell. It is a kind of a cycle, vicious cycle actually. So the signs, we can say signs and symptoms of insulin resistance. So if obesity, okay, increasing in weight, abdominal fat, mainly abdominal fat, indicates insulin resistance. And signs like blackening of neck, thick velvety patch on the neck, we call it as acanthosis nigricans in a technical term. That indicates insulin resistance. And some warts also will be forming on the neck, small warts. That also indicates that. And knuckles also become black. For some people, that also can be insulin resistance. And symptom wise, we feel weak and tired throughout the day, low energy levels, because what happens, because of accumulation of fat, the mitochondria, it is there in that picture, mitochondria are called as powerhouse of the cell. So the number will be reduced. Okay, so we will be feeling more weak and tired throughout the day. Yeah, so here mitochondria are there, no? So those are the energy producing organelles, actually ATP generating. Okay, so powerhouse, we say powerhouse of the cell. So when the cell is filled with fat, the place for mitochondria will be less, so we will be feeling weak and tired throughout the day. And we will not have a mentally like clarity, also fogging of the brain also will be there. Our brain don't work sharply also. So that is what symptoms and signs.
Okay. Then how to overcome from this insulin resistance naturally without being get medicated, because you are specialized in treating PCOS cured naturally without any medication. So this insulin resistance is also associated with the problem of PCOS.
Yes.
So now how to come out from this insulin resistance problem without medication naturally?
Yeah. So definitely, if you are so if we talk about PCOS, you can make changes in the diet, exercise. As I told, diet related factors, exercise related factors, and stress related factors are there. So making some changes in the diet. So we have to take the food which our great grandmothers. So we should eat food like that. At that time, there were no refined foods. Okay, even white rice is considered as refined food. Maida is very dangerous. It affects our gut health. We should avoid that. And whatever foods which are available recently, all the junk foods and all, we know what to avoid and all. So we have to avoid that. Simply, when we harvest the food items, how they look, we should bring those food items to our home and just cook them and eat. All ready-made foods are not good. We should avoid them. Once you see the signs and symptoms of insulin resistance, you should take this step and be careful, and start doing some physical activity. At least start with walking. Actually, walking is not considered as a big exercise. It is just an activity, we can say. So like walking, jogging in between you can do, or climbing stairs is very good. Okay, squats and also this will help in movement of the lymphatic flow, actually lymphatic system. That is very important. So to explain the concept,
doing yoga regularly and
yoga, Surya Namaskaras are very good every day. At least 12 to 24 you can do. It is very good. Then stress also. Managing stress is also equally important, because those stress hormones also go and block that insulin receptors and increase the insulin resistance. So doing a meditation, just a breathwork meditation, just observing the natural breath at least for 10 minutes per day, in the morning after waking up, and before bedtime. This helps a lot in reducing your anxiety and stress levels.
Okay. So, doctor, how you will say this insulin resistance is also causing the problems with PCOS, and how to recognize it and overcome from it?
Yeah, so these are the signs and symptoms of insulin resistance: obesity, abdominal fat, and blackening of neck. So high insulin causes high testosterone levels, and they see other symptoms also, like excess hair on the face, acne, and all. So they also should follow similar lifestyle modifications, and they need to address in a systematic way. In PCOS, there will be more special, we can say, protocols to be followed with respect to sleep, exposing to sunshine. Everything matters because it is related to estrogen hormone. We should increase our estrogen levels. So we need to address that in a systematic way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice to know few details about the insulin resistance and its effects on PCOS. Thank you very much, doctor, for your sharing of your knowledge on this particular subject. We would like to meet again next week with some more. Few of our viewers have shown their interest in participating in our next session, and they may be asking some of their doubts or clarifications. I think you feel comfortable in removing their doubts.
Yeah, sure. Anytime, yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Namaste.